Well, I was suddenly awakened at around 11:30 last night when it seemed the entire town was making its way down the beach road here at Turtle Beach for the conclusion of this year's Vegetarian Festival. And what a cacophony! We had fireworks, we had firecrackers, a few of them thrown at me. Just people walking along, making as much noise as they possibly can to say farewell to the 9 emperor gods and sending them on their way. And the nice thing, I suppose, about this beach is that they can arrive at the beach and then they can depart from the beach as well, which makes the whole thing very picturesque. But this was all around midnight last night, and it went on for about, a couple of hours by the time people eventually made their way home. But they certainly enjoyed the final night of the Vegetarian Festival here at the Thailand beach, which, as you know, we call Turtle Beach. So farewell to the 9 emperor gods, and I suppose they'll be back again next year. It all goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, and if you ask, 20 or 30 people in the town what exactly the Vegetarian Festival is about, you'll probably get 20 or 30 different answers. But it is steeped in tradition and goes all the way back to Chinese traditions and a strong ethnically Chinese community around this particular part of the world. Now, heading into our news stories today, and BangkokPost.com reports the PM backs ship for sub swap. Yes, the PM's been back in town for a few days and getting back to his desk. The Prime Minister and the Defence Minister have defended the plan to purchase a Chinese-made frigate to replace a submarine that the Navy had ordered back in 2017. And they describe it as the best option available. In other words, the best face-saving option available. And speaking for the first time on the planned conversion deal, Mr. Seta insisted it would not put the country at a disadvantage. And downplaying growing criticism against the proposed switch, the Defence Minister said he was ready to explain the Navy's plan to purchase a frigate instead of a submarine, a deal which would require forking out an additional 1 billion baht to cover. The Navy ordered a Yuan-class submarine back in 2017, intending to install in it a German-made engine. But the plan had to be revised as Germany would not allow its engines to be fitted on a Chinese-made military vessel. And China suggested a Chinese engine to be fitted in the submarine, but the Navy refused. And in keeping with Thailand's plan to boost its maritime defence capacity, the Navy proposed 2 options: buy a frigate capable of combating, ironically, submarines, or purchase an offshore patrol vessel. The Defence Ministry opted for the frigate at a cost of 1 billion baht more than the submarine. Meanwhile, a former House Committee member scrutinising last year's national expenditure budget said he was baffled by the Defence Minister's mindset to convert the purchase. He said according to regulations, the government must obtain a full refund for any payment it's made towards the purchase and start anew the process to acquire the frigate. And then he said the Navy's got a lot of explaining to do regarding the allegation it spent almost 9 billion baht on building infrastructure to accommodate the now defunct submarine project, including a 995 million baht submarine maintenance depot, as well as the 7 billion baht deposit on the 17 billion baht submarine. Well, red faces all around on this one. Let's see if we can find some more information from ThaiPBSWorld.com and the Defence Minister to testify to House Committee on submarine deal. And the Defence Minister said he does not want to blame China for breach of contract over the submarine engine after Germany refused to sell it to China, adding that this is not just a business deal, but Thailand has to take into consideration strategic cooperation and friendship between Thailand and China. And, well, certainly Germany as well, but as you can see, a lot of face-saving in those comments from the new Defence Minister. But it looks like we won't be having a new submarine here in Thailand. We'll have a nice, shiny new frigate instead. Tuesday's TNT. Thank you very much for dropping in, and please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what we do here. Now, there are plenty of amazing national parks in Thailand, but which one's the most popular? BangkokPost.com reports tourist hotspot in Krabi becomes the top earner. Now, I know a lot of people go to Maya Bay, for example, and the PP Islands from Phuket, but in fact it's in a Krabi National Park. And Krabi's Koh Phi National Park has had a jump in annual revenue, reaching more than 270 million baht, making it the highest earning national park in the country. From October last year to last month, the park collected some 276 million baht worth of entry fees from 1.1 million visitors. That's a big proportion of the total number of people that come to Thailand. Meanwhile, the Deputy Prime Minister and Natural Resource and Environment Minister said yesterday that 5 parks in Thailand have been listed among the top 100 best beaches in the world by the World Beach Guide this year. So that sent me off on a search of the World Beach Guide, had to wade through all 100 of them, noting that most of them were in Australia, which is hardly surprising given that the entire coastline is, well, beaches. But trying to find those Thailand beaches had to go through all 100, and here we go, the top 100 beaches on Earth for 2023, and ranked by the World Beach Guide, which is worldbeachguide.com, and number 1 in the world, and I've been there myself, is Koh Kradan in Thailand. So you've got to make your way down to Trang and take a boat out to Koh Kradan, and yep, it's a very nice beach indeed. Number 9 is Railay Beach, which is at Krabi, and the number 17 beach, Freedom Beach in Phuket. Not particularly easy to get to and a little bit on the controversial side, but people that say when they get there it's certainly worth the visit. And number 20 is Lamhad Beach, and that's just one of the many beautiful beaches on the islands in Phangar Bay. And number 43, Ao Tonot Beach, and that's at Koh Tao, which is in the Gulf of Thailand, quite near to Koh Samui. So Thailand getting 5 beaches in the top 100 in the world at the World Beach Guide. So bleary-eyed after not getting too much sleep last night because of all the noise just outside the front door, but we go to ThaiPBSWorld.com. Over 3,000 Thais already repatriated from Israel, and a total of 3,329 Thai workers and students have now been flown back to Thailand from Israel, including 367 who arrived on Sunday, and another 515 Thai evacuees were due back on 2 more flights yesterday. And the second set of the remains of Thais killed in the fighting in Israel are scheduled to arrive in Bangkok on Wednesday. The first 8 sets of remains were flown back from Israel last week. Altogether, 31 Thais were killed, 18 injured and 19 abducted by Hamas, and more than 8,000 have registered to be repatriated. And just another dimension on that particular story, and we'll keep on bringing you up to date on returning Thais. But Nation Thailand reporting that Thai auto exports are threatened by the Israel-Hamas conflict. And the Federation of Thai Industries is closely monitoring the Israel-Hamas conflict for fear that if the war expands to include other neighbouring Arab nations, Thai vehicle exports could be affected late this year. And vehicles are the leading Thai exports to Israel in terms of value. In the first 8 months of this year, Thailand exported $124 million worth of vehicles and auto parts to Israel, and that represents 1% of total Thai auto exports. And the Middle East is Thailand's 3rd largest vehicle market, accounting for 16% of total exports, behind Australia and Asia in 2022. The FTI has cut its forecast for total Thai vehicle production this year from 1.95 million units to 1.9 million, following sluggish sales in August, and the projection covers 850 units for domestic sales and 1.05 million for export. So some unintended consequences that may affect sales of Thai cars in the near future. And we go to VN Express, which is at evnexpress.net, Thai Airlines weigh passengers before flights for data collection. Seems to be a lot more of this going on around the world these days. Let's see which Thai airlines are being involved. And a number of airlines in Thailand have begun weighing passengers and their carry-on baggage before boarding, saying it's for collecting data on the load distribution of aircraft. And AirAsia in Thailand last week asked their passengers to have their weight checked before boarding their flights. And it wrote on its Facebook page the weighing was carried out on selected flights from October the 16th to 20th on a voluntary basis to determine the average weight of passengers. And AirAsia said any data collected in the exercise will be kept confidential. A lot of people pointing to these stories and suggesting that airlines at some stage are going to be weighing everybody and charging people according to their weight. Well, nothing's been suggested by any airline in that regard at this stage. It seems that it really is related to safety. And from mid-September until the end of this month, obviously that was last month, Bangkok Airways was inviting passengers to be weighed along with their carry-on baggage as part of a weight check survey. And Thai Lion Air last week requested volunteer passengers to weigh themselves and their luggage, according to the Tiger. And a series of major airlines around the world have weighed passengers before they board their flights. On May the 30th, Air New Zealand announced that it would ask its passengers to step on the scales, and South Korea's flag carrier Korean Air last August started weighing passengers and their carry-on luggage on domestic and international flights. Well, I think it's perfectly fine for airlines to have a better idea of the average weight of its passengers and also the weight of the stuff that they're dragging onto the plane these days. Obviously, both are increasing. And it's important for airlines to know what the takeoff weight of the other planes are. So I don't have any problems. If I'm asked, I'd certainly volunteer to be weighed. Now, speaking of flying internationally, this guy got more than he was expecting. 9 News in Australia reports pensioner says he thought he was getting an award from the UN. He got 2 kilograms of heroin instead. The 77-year-old was arrested in July by the Australian Federal Police when they found 2 kilograms of heroin in his luggage as he transited to Auckland through Melbourne on his way back from Thailand. The Australian Border Force officers allegedly found white powder, which later tested positive for heroin hidden inside the lining of his suitcase. He claims he's the victim of a scam. And about 18 months before his arrest, he was contacted through WhatsApp by a man who called himself George. And the lawyer said he was told he needed to go to Bangkok to sign the certificate and pick up prizes for other people back home. While he was in Bangkok, a woman met the man at his hotel and gave him a black carry-on bag with carry gifts for officials he would meet in Australia. Red flags flying all over the place at the moment. Let's read more. After taking the gifts to the officials in Melbourne, he would then receive US $23 million and the certificate. Well, it was a lot more than a couple of floral shirts and a bottle of wine. His lawyer said the family claimed he'd previously fallen for online scams, but this one had far more severe consequences. And since his arrest, he's been held at a medium security remand centre in Melbourne's west, where alleged offenders wait until they face court. So a 77-year-old drug mule falling for what seems to be a fairly obvious scam, but got himself in a world of trouble, and we'll see what happens with that one. Thank you for joining us today as we brought you all the latest stories coming out of Thailand. Please subscribe to the channel, and also a big appreciation and thanks to 5 Star Marine. You can go to their website 5starmarinephuket.com, and there's a link in the description below if you'd like a special deal for TNT viewers, and they of course can take you out to all the beautiful islands around Pang Ah Bay. Maybe see some of those beaches we featured in the program. But thanks for watching today. We'll see you tomorrow.